and welcome back to the cEDH sermon. Ian, how are you doing today?
Good. God damn, I every time I think you're not going to be as excited, and every time you're more and more excited. Now, eventually, you're going to have to just scream.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Piss off your neighbors. I can't do that because my wife is asleep in the very next room. So if I scream like that, she will come over here and probably slap me. Literally. Okay. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
No, seriously, there's some serious...
let's tone it down, Ian. Seriously, Ian, you need to calm down. Like, this is not what the viewers clicked on for.
Yes, they did.
Okay?
But
calm the fuck down.
Speaking of our viewers, yeah, this is our 10th episode. So, yeah, we want to thank you guys for sticking around. Yeah. If you're here. If you're still here.
Yeah, if you started watching on the first episode and stuck around for the 10th, we love you for it, man. Like, thank you.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Even if there wasn't any viewers, we would still be doing this, but it just means that much more that people are actually viewing this shit. So
yeah, exactly.
But for our 10th episode, we decided that we were going to start something a little fun, a little exciting. So Ian, what exactly are we doing today?
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to rank reserve list cards and their application in cEDH. So you probably already know of some that are played. A lot of them aren't played. A lot of them are really, really bad. So it'll be pretty funny just to go over and see what kind of rankings we end up giving them. Now, there's a lot of them that aren't legal, something like, for example, Black Lotus, but we're going to rank it as if it were legal in cEDH. So even the weird cards, we're just going to say, yep, it's legal, totally fine to use. So like a Black Lotus, that's going to get a 5 out of 5. We'll rank them out of 5. And I kind of came up with this. Damn it, I had a whole little thing. I had a thing. Give me a minute. Basically a one...
the Excel file?
I've got the Excel file to be tracking this so we don't lose track, because we're not going to do all 571 cards. Even though some of them are duplicate prints, there's a lot. I think there's at least like 380
we're going to do all 500 of them.
Eventually.
Because, eventually. But for now, we're just going to see how much we can do in about an hour, and then we're going to call it there. This is going to be a reoccurring thing. Like, maybe every 5 episodes, we'll release another one of these.
Yeah. Or maybe we say, fuck it, and we do it all right now, and we stay up all night.
It's about 8:45. I don't have time for that shit.
Neither do I. But we'll see how far we get. Okay, so here's my so a 1 out of 5, and there's no zeros. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 is it's fucking awful. Why was this even printed? Regardless of cEDH, this is just like, why is this even a card? 2 is we can't justify ever running it in a cEDH deck, but it isn't completely terrible. It's like, hey, this at least has some merit in its design, even if it's power crept away or whatever. It's not just awful, but yeah, you can't ever run it in cEDH. A 3 is it's very niche playability, or is so close to being playable, but there's something holding it back. 4 is it's played or would be played in specific strategies, but not every deck. And then a 5 is it's played everywhere or almost every cEDH deck if it were legalized. So something like Black Lotus, that's easily going to be a 5. So
yeah,
we can. And we're just going to on screen.
We're just going to do this. Oh yeah,
just so everyone can.
We're just going to do this fucking alphabetically.
Yeah, we'll go through alphabetically. So let me. Why don't you read that first card for us?
Abeyance? Abeyance?
I think it's Abeyance.
Abeyance?
Yeah.
Okay. Until end of turn, player cannot play instants, interrupts, sorceries, or abilities requiring an activation cost. Draw a card. So it's a silence. It's kind of a shitty silence and a cantrip in one.
Yeah. I do like it because that effect is relevant in cEDH. You know, like that's not just a terrible effect. It's a little overcosted, and the fact that it's targeted to one player, but I do like the abilities. But yeah,
the activated abilities, like it's just a curse totem with on an instant, which is nice, and it's a cantrip, so it replaces itself. It's actually honestly a lot better than I was expecting for the first reserved list card.
I know. I feel like I've seen it maybe once or twice it's probably in mono white lists. I would say it's a 3 because if a 3 it's very niche playability or it's just so close to being playable, it's right on that cusp where I probably wouldn't play it. But if I'm in a mono white deck, why wouldn't you play? Because you don't have counter spells really, so you just have to play all the other silence effects. I'd play it in mono white.
If you're desperate for another silence effect, or if you just like the cursed totem effect, I think it's good. I mean, I would give it a 3 as well.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. First one we actually agreed on. Not terrible at all. All right, next one.
Our Aboroth.
Aboroth.
So it's 4 and 2 green, so 6 mana to summon a creature. Aboroth. I'm guessing it's probably Oracle texted to be a beast or something, and it's a 9/9. But it's that's pretty much it, except for cumulative upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on it. You're never going to play this in cEDH.
No, this is terrible. This is, I think, an instant 1. It's a 1 for the -1/-1 counters you put on it.
Yeah. I mean, could you even see this as a 2? Like, you would never run it in cEDH, but it isn't just terrible? I don't even know if I could justify that because the only card
for a 6-drop
that's a 9/9 doesn't even have trample, even in casual.
Yeah.
If it had trample, I would say it's a 2 in casual.
You know what's better than this? Oh, by the way, the Oracle text actually makes it an elemental.
Oh.
I just looked it up. But even in casual, you know what's better than this? Fucking Blossom Prancer, which is one of my favorite cards. I don't know why I love that card, but like that's a 5-drop, right? And it is better than this.
There's a lot that's even...
It's weaker than this.
Well, and think about this. Unless you give it haste, the first turn you untap with it, it's just going to be an 8/8.
Yeah. It's just going to be an 8/8 with no abilities, and it's just going to get weaker over time.
Now, here is one actually. Let's pull this up on screen. I just thought of, what about this card? It's now we're justifying this for casual. God, that's a horrible picture of it. Just pull up the goddamn.
Just go to visit, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, that's not that great, but...
Goddamn pop-ups.
So Galta...
Get out of here. Reject all...
...is 10 other mana and 2 green, so 12 mana, but it costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. And it has trample. So if you were running this as a commander, you pay 6 mana to make it cost 9 less. But... I mean, maybe the turn before. I mean, even as I'm thinking about it, you can't even justify it. It's a fucking 1. Whatever. It's a 1.
Aboroth is a 1. It's a pretty shitty 1, to be honest.
I can't even. Yeah. Now you're gonna see that there's some worse ones on here. That's why I was trying to like justify it, but I used to kind of like casually collect and I still kind of do, but not really actively anymore. I just buy some of the reserve list cards. Usually the cheap ones. I've got a couple, nicer ones, but I would just be like, I want to get one of each card, on the reserve list. That would be cool to have. I realized how shitty they were, and not very expensive for all the shit that it gets for existing. Most of them are super affordable and complete trash. Now this next one,
there's only like a handful that are good. Actually, before we go to the next one, I can potentially see Aboroth being somewhat useful if you're doing like a +1/+1 counter deck. Because if you're adding +1 counters, you're getting rid of the -1 counters. Now that's very niche, and like there's better things you could be doing with that. But I think in that scenario, it might be playable. But
in a casual deck, obviously.
In casual, yeah, obviously. But yeah, let's move on to Academy Rector. So Academy Rector is for 3 and a white, you get a creature cleric that when Academy Rector is put into a graveyard from play, you may remove Academy Rector from the game. If you do, search your library for an enchantment card and put that card into play, and then shuffle your library. Okay, so when it goes to the graveyard from play, you get to search for an enchantment, put it into play. Interesting.
Yeah, this one is great. This one is
that is really good.
It's played all the time in Kiki Jiki decks, or not. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Well, that's usually part of the finisher, but I was going to say Protean Hulk. So what you do is you play this, you rush this out, and then you have some sort of sack outlet. So I run it in my Minsk list, the Naya Minsk, where you pay X to make target creature's base power and toughness be XX. So if you just pay 0, you can activate it for free, basically sack any of one of your creatures by making it 0/0. And then you get Pattern of Rebirth, which is an enchantment that attaches to any creature you want, and then when that creature dies, you can tutor out any creature onto the battlefield. So then you attach it to usually the Boo token or like a Mana Dork. You kill that, and then you get your Protean Hulk, and then you just go off from there. So it starts out a lot of combos. Mainly that one, but I know there's a couple other ones you can get too. So
okay.
I think.
I mean, I've never played with it. You're saying 3?
I was actually.
It's got niche play, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I would almost say 4, because 3 is super niche, or is so close to being playable, and this is. I said 4 is played or would be in specific strategies. I know this kind of sounds like niche, but it's more. But when I say niche, I mean there's one deck specifically or 2 decks that might use this, whereas this isn't an all-star card, but it's pretty damn good. And I will specifically tutor to get this out most of the time because it immediately starts my finishing combo. Once I get this out and I have Minsk on the field, and there's other decks that use this too. I'd say 4. But you're welcome
you say
to
4.
disagree.
I agree with you. It's just...
Hey, give it a 3.
It's very specific in strategy. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 3. It's very niche. If your strategy runs it, then yeah, it's a fucking necessary piece. But I don't know. Maybe if I ran it, I would agree with you more.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I'm glad that we can have differing opinions. We have our first 3.5 ranking. So
there we go.
It's for the best. And I totally think you're correct in thinking where if you had the chance to run it, it makes a little more sense. Because to me, I'm for one of my favorite decks, it's literally my lifeline. But that is kind of, in some sense, kind of the definition of the 3. But yeah, let's stick with that. And then, oh God, yeah, this next one is, I'll read this one. I know this one.
We kind of teased this one.
Yeah, well, you're right. We did tease this one in one of our other episodes. Acidic Dagger is 4 mana for other for an artifact, and you can pay for tap it to destroy any non-wall creature receiving combat damage from target creature this turn. If targeted creature leaves play, bury Acidic Dagger. Use this ability only before defense is chosen. I mean, that's a fucking instant one. And even...
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
I meant to just show it. I think in the preview that we kind of did, if I can remember off the top of my head, I kind of just meant to say like, oh yeah, look at this, how bad it is. But then we like read it a little bit more. And the text is just so weird. So you're destroying any non-wall creature receiving combat damage. So you're not even targeting that creature. But it has to already be receiving damage from another target creature. And if the creature that's dealing the damage that's targeted leaves play, you just lose the dagger. So why would you destroy something that's already being dealt combat damage? And if, I guess the only scenario when it's mildly useful is if those creatures don't actually kill each other and they just kind of bounce off each other, like they're both 1/2s or something, and then you could kill the other one and not lose the dagger. But that's just like if in a very specific scenario, if this card didn't complete suck major donkey balls, which it does. So that's an instant one.
Major donkey balls.
I mean, major donkey balls. I mean, there's just no... This is a one, like a true definition of why was this even printed? That's why I was like trying to
not
even
only
give
printed.
I was trying to at
why
least
was
give
this put on
Aboroth
the list?
2. Yeah. Why is this not allowed to be played, or not allowed to be reprinted? I mean, like, oh, we have to protect the sanctity.
Yeah, they should reprint Acidic Dagger. We should.
You know what? I'm kind of glad that it's actually on the reserve list so they don't print shit like this again.
No. We need to petition WotC to print this fucking card so it's standard legal.
And then that doesn't see play? And then never sees play.
And then never sees play.
I mean, it is so bad.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. So I'm guessing 1s across the board?
Yeah, I'm giving that a 1. If there was a 0, I would give it a 0. But
see, that's why I was
your
trying
ranking
to
system that you made up. So
saying Aboroth is like maybe he's at a 2. I mean, how can you get lower than 1? Why was this even printed? That's why
why was this printed?
That's kind of why I was like trying to at least justify Aboroth being a 2, where it's like I guess, but it's like, ugh. Yeah, but then that's saying that you can't justify it, but it's not terrible, and Aboroth is fucking terrible too.
Aboroth is pretty terrible. Let's not try to polish a shit.
Yeah, let's not try to polish a piece of shit. All right, let's move on to the. All right.
Next one is Acidic Rain or Acid Rain. 3 and a blue, sorcery, destroy all forests. Honestly, I kind of like that.
It's a 2.
No.
It's a 2 for me.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's a 2 too.
You'd never play it in cEDH, but
no.
It's not completely terrible. It is kind of fun. Like if you're in a play group, now I'm talking casually. If you're in like one of those casual play groups and everyone's playing the big battle cruiser, green stompy decks, and everyone's just trying to get out all the biggest stuff and they're ramping, and then you just blow up all the forests. Watch your entire play group fucking grab the pitchforks. People get so mad over stuff like that, and you're like, yeah, it's just forests. Who gives a shit? And I'm like, well, that's all we fucking have. Well, too bad. And then
you know, Ian, there's an unspoken rule in Commander where you don't touch the mana base. And
in casual.
I don't know if you remember my in casual mainly. I don't remember if you remember my mono red deck that was specifically a land destruction deck.
Oh, that was Zozu.
Zozu, yeah, I was trying to remember the commander. It was so good at doing the thing that it did that I didn't want to play it. It was too mean.
People would get really pissed. It was actually one of those things where it was really good at that, but then people would always gang up on you. Now, I didn't really give a shit. I was like, I'm not going to target you. There's bigger threats. But people hate having a land blown up, or you also get dealt damage every time you play a land. So people are like, what's that thing that keeps dealing me
every
damage?
time you tapped a land, you'd get damage.
Oh, yeah. The whole deck was like that. So people got pissed, and they would just run you off the table. And you're like, well, at least I pissed everyone off. All right. So Acid Rain 2s across the board. All right. So we got Adun Oakenshield.
Adun Oakenshield.
So that's going to be a black, a red, and a green. And it's 1/2 for a legendary creature, Human Knight. And you can pay black, red, green, and tap it to return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It's like almost, if it was to the battlefield, it would still be a little expensive, but I could see this being a really cool Jund Reanimator deck. But to your hand, come on, don't do that.
Yeah,
Reanimate costs fucking one.
Even... Oh yeah, it does. Or like Animate Dead.
2, even a Necromancy.
Those are 2 drops.
Yeah, they're 1 times, and you can do this over and over, like once a turn, I guess, unless you untap it. But, just make it a little better.
Yeah,
I almost want to revise
your options in Jund.
We should make a revised list where we just make these better.
I mean, if only. I mean, I'm sure there is a card that is literally this, but it puts it onto the field. I'm pretty sure there's fucking cards that have been printed in the recent set that do that. Not Aether Drift, the Foundations.
Yeah, you're probably right. I haven't looked through that set that much, to be honest. But now that we're doing a podcast, we're gonna be focusing on newer sets in cEDH playable cards. I usually just kind of, as they come out and I hear about them, I'm like, oh yeah. But now that we owe the community, we got to put out good content, so we got to do our research.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
now
this one's a 2 for me because, again, it's not a completely terrible card for like casual, but you'd never run this in cEDH.
Yeah, I would never run this. I wouldn't run this in a Jund deck to begin with, honestly. I mean, what would I'm trying to conceive of a reason that I would want that. Maybe for madness or cycling, maybe, but like it's not even worth it. I'd give it a 2 as well.
Yeah, because it's not the likes of Aboroth and Acid Dagger. So Acid Dagger is so far is the worst card that we've talked about. And
awesome.
Now this next one, I don't know. Just from what I'm seeing so far, why don't you give that one a read?
Aegis of the Meek. So it's an artifact, 3-drop, and for 1, and you can tap it to give target 1/1 creature +1/+2 until end of turn. So you can make a 1/1 creature into a 2/3.
I still think actually Acid Dagger is worse.
Yes, definitely, because this actually has a function. This one has a clear function, and I can see it being used.
You know what? This
whereas
is probably
Acid Dagger
more likely
is
to kill.
Stupid.
Yeah, and it's cheaper, but it's still. I still think it's a 1. I mean,
a 1.
Because it's specifically.
Is there any way you can change Acid Dagger to like a 0.9? So it's the worst.
Okay, well, we can only have 1 0. Okay, it's a fucking 0.
And the acid dagger is a 0. Okay. It's our rules. We can change if we need to.
Because 1 is already, it's terrible by it's even printed. And then acid dagger is, what are you on acid when you made this? Even someone on acid would make a better card.
I mean, it was the 90s, Ian.
Oh, did people take a lot? It's not. That's not the 60s or the 70s. Did people take a lot of acid in the 90s?
I mean, no, off the record, I've heard stories from people that they've taken a lot of acid during the 90s, but that is hearsay.
Interesting. You know what?
Anyways,
let's go with it.
So I think we're in agreement. This is a 1.
Yeah. Aegis and the Meek is a 1. Now remember, if we're gonna stick to it, we can only have 1 0. Acid Dagger would have to get promoted to a 1 if we run into something worse. That's the rule.
Okay.
And that can change again. But I think that's a fun rule.
I think we'll find something worse than Acid Dagger.
Yeah, it might be a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so Aeolipile or Aeolipile?
Aeolipile.
Okay, that's weird.
Hold up. Can we just put this in nah, whatever. What does it do, Ian?
It is an artifact for 2 colorless. You pay 1 and tap it. Sacrifice Aeolipile. Aeolipile deals 2 damage to target creature or player.
Honestly,
it's not.
I've seen a worse effect than that.
So yeah, again, I don't think you'd play this in cEDH, or not even. I don't think you just wouldn't. But
you wouldn't play this at all.
This is not a 1. This is not a 1 in my opinion. It's cheap, and I don't know if you're doing some sort of like casual Jehoira list or something where you just want as many artifacts as possible, and eventually you can't have just all 0-drop artifacts. There's only so many, so they're going to use some 1-drops and then maybe some 2-drops. At least these have, an effect where you could deal a damage. I don't know. I mean, I'm just coming up with a reason why it's not a 1.
It's a 1 in my book.
I'll give it a 2.
Like for what it is, you might as well just run Lightning Bolt, which does more damage.
Yeah, I know.
And is fucking cheaper.
Let's see. I'm gonna look this up. Does Jehoira? Let's see if this is even on EDH Rec. You want to do a bet? Want to see if it's on there? I was typing it on my end, but let's see if Jehoira EDH Rec. It's runs in the artifacts section of this, the non-mana utility artifacts. Is it in the top, however many? Ooh, see, like something like this. See, because I know but that's way better because it's a 1 mana. What happens? The loser gets punched right in the face by the other one. Next time we see each other, and we film it and put it on the channel. Okay, you agreed to this, so hopefully it's not on you.
I didn't agree to shit. What are you talking about, Ian?
Ooh, these look like some shitty cards for effects.
There's this bobble is not that bad.
No, I know. I'm like, ooh, old shitty looking card. Actually, the old ones don't look shitty though. They look kind of cool.
Yeah, especially the foil.
Ooh, no,
I have a collection of some old foils.
Ooh, especially the old foils. Oh yeah. And like pictures of them don't do it justice. You just have to look at one in person, and not the retro frame, like the new versions, but like specifically the actual old retro frame foils.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. I love them.
Oh, okay.
I even have a few.
You get to stick me right in the face.
Yes. Okay. Actually, Ian, I found the card that I was thinking of that is worse than Aeolipile or whatever the fuck that is, which
That's
is
worse.
It's yeah. There is a card that is worse. Does the pretty much exact same thing.
Flame cast
Except.
wheel. Oh my god, it costs
pull it up
5 to do that? Oh my god.
Oh no. What's wrong with my internet? Yeah, it essentially does the same thing, but costs 5. Oh,
It deals 3 damage, I guess. But that's
yeah, it deals 1 more damage
terrible.
for 5. Yeah, it's terrible. This is I remember seeing this, like somebody played a precon deck and it had this in it. And this was years ago. But I just remember seeing that. I'm like, why the fuck would anyone play that card? But anyways.
Okay, so you gave it a 1.
Yeah,
I'm going to give it a 2 because I can at least kind of justify it in my head. But yeah, so that's a 1.5. All right, go ahead and read this one off.
Afiya Grove? Is that a...
I think so.
That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Afiya Grove.
Yeah, sounds right.
So this is an enchantment for 1 and a green. When it comes into play, comes into play with 3+1/+1 counters on it. During your upkeep, put 1 of these counters on target creature. If Afiya Grove has none of these counters on it, bury it. All right. That's honestly, I can see this being played.
In cEDH?
Not cEDH. Okay. Well, do people play +1/+1 counter decks?
Well, so here's the thing. The only deck that's relevant is Tayum, because you want to have 3 counters across things to remove them for his effect. But you only get to do it on your upkeep. So it would take 3 turns. You'd rather just have something that like puts 3 counters on something right away. So even in the one deck that you could justify a counters thing, it just can't.
Is Tayum, do you have to remove the counter from a creature, or can it be any permanent? Because
yeah, it's among creatures you control.
if it's any,
yeah, remove 3 counters. Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't even work in Tayum. So
yeah,
I'd give it a 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost want to say, because it's not. Yeah, it's a 2 because it's not complete trash like some of the other stuff. It's bad and it's super slow because it's like it's more so that the fact that it's not overly costed, even if it's a bad slow effect. You know, let's just say I'm sure there's a casual deck out there where you'd want to, you know, oh, I want to have something go on every turn, and then I remove the counter once a turn, and then I put it, you know, something like that. It's still really bad, but yeah, it's a 2. It's not just, why was this even printed? Okay, so we got Djinn. How do you pronounce it? Djinn?
Afiya, sorry. Afiya, I just looked up the definition of it. It's physical, emotional, and spiritual health and wholeness. So that's cool.
Too bad it's shit. So we got Djinn.
Too bad it's shit.
Which is 3 and 2 black for a 5/6 Djinn creature. It has trample. That's probably the best effect we've seen on a creature today. Just a basic trample. During your upkeep, each opponent puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature he or she controls. Holy shit, that could be a nightmare.
That is a nightmare.
No. That's...
Yeah, like...
Oh my god, no. No.
Yeah. Is that worse than Acidic Dagger?
No, because at least it's a 5/6.
At least it's a 5/6 with trample. You're right.
But dude, even if someone has like 2 1/1s, now they have 4 power on board, and then the next turn they're gonna have 6 power. And they could play another creature. It's like all of a sudden, this doesn't even have flying. You most likely get blocked and killed by your opponents before you even get to fucking swing with this. I mean, these are the cards where it's like, what were they thinking when they printed this?
Aren't Djinns genies?
Yeah, I think so.
Shouldn't they have flying?
Probably. Yeah. See what I mean?
It doesn't have that.
This is like, why?
It's a 1 in my book.
It's a 1. It's not even close to being as bad as Acidic Dagger. Acidic Dagger is like, I can't believe someone came up with that. I mean, this is also just like, in what scenario would you play this? Unless you have like a sneak attack. And you're like, oh, I get to sneak attack in a 5/6 with trample, but holy shit, there's a million other things you could. Yeah, that's just crazy.
And it's a 5. You know what is better than this? It's like Master of the Feast, which is a 5/5 with flying, and it just gives your opponent a card, but you get a 5/5 for flying for 3. This is a 5-drop and is a 5/6 with trample. This is really shitty.
Yeah. Okay. It's ones across the board.
Okay. Ian, would you like to pronounce this one for me?
Yeah, Al-abara's carpet.
Al-abara's carpet.
It looks more intimidating than it is, because I was like, oh shit, and then it's like, oh, just Al-abara.
So it's a 5-drop artifact, and for 5 and tapping it, you can prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn by attacking creature without flying.
Holy shit, this might be worse than Acidic Dagger. It might be worse.
Yeah, wait, this
is a 10 mana investment.
It's 10 mana.
Oh my god! I mean,
is this worse?
Is fucking terrible. Yeah,
I think it might be worse.
Because I'm thinking,
because at least the fucking dagger kills something.
Oh my god! I mean, I'm trying to I'm not. So it's easily a 1. But I'm trying to decide whether I would rather, if you had to, this would be a really funny thing, is we have to each put either Al-abara's carpet or Acidic Dagger in our Tivit and Kinnan list and bring it to a tournament.
Oh god.
You have to win.
Oh god.
Just have a fucking dead card in the deck. You have to play it at least once.
Now, there's a term in Yu-Gi-Oh! Called bricking, when you're essentially just purposely bricking yourself. And that means, you draw a card and you can't do anything with it. And it just stays in your hand.
So we would have to purposely brick ourselves with these cards.
Yeah.
The shitty thing is, I think the fact that it's without flying is just the nail in the coffin, where it's like, hey, we were trying to, even for 10 mana, you don't even get a real fucking fog. You can't even get a real fog for fucking 10.
Oh yeah, isn't fog a 1-drop?
Yeah, fog is 1-drop. And it actually just stops all combat damage, not just without flying.
Yeah.
This is fucking...
And this is one creature.
This is a
This just prevents damage from one creature.
No, attacking creatures. No.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Didn't see the S of that.
If it was one creature, oh my god, then it wouldn't even be a question. I mean,
okay.
It's still... I almost think This turned in from like completely from like, hey, let's rank these if they're viable in cEDH to like just dunking on these terrible cards.
Welcome to the reserve
I
list.
think it's worse.
Where
I think it's worse than Acidic Dagger.
I would agree. I think it's way fucking worse.
Well, you know what? Here's the other thing. At least you can repeatedly do this for 5 mana a turn. It's 10 mana the first time. But Acidic Dagger is like you likely lose the dagger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
And you know what? I actually think Acidic Dagger is still worse because of that.
Yeah. Hold up. Really? Because this is an 8 investment. I forgot about that part.
But if it leaves play, you destroy the dagger too. And it's like your creature could easily get destroyed during combat.
You know what? I'll let you decide, Ian. If you want to keep the dagger on 0, we'll keep the dagger on 0. If the carpet is worse than that, I think the carpet's worse.
I think we just have to... Honestly, it's getting a 0 too as well. Because I just think that like there's a whole new level of trash. And it's Acidic Dagger and Al-abara's carpet. I mean... Oh, God.
Yeah, I think we have to add a 0 ranking, which is just this card is absolute.
This is like I want to actually like strangle the perp. The 1 is already why the fuck was this made? This is like what were you thinking? Like were you trying? Like it should almost be a negative. Like you were trying to make a card as shitty as possible and still get it printed. But okay, yeah, let's move on before we... Okay, so we got...
Take too much time on this trash.
Alchor's Tomb. 4 mana for an artifact. Pay 2, tap it. Target permanent you control becomes the color of your choice. Oh my god, dude. I mean...
Are these...
Why are these even on here? Why are these even on...
The reserved list is wacky, man. That's all I know.
Because it's like, dude, I know it's mainly supposed to be like rare cards from those sets, but why is this considered a rare?
What set is it? Masters.
Is that even a relevant? That's like an online thing. What is the actual original? An image, a new tab. Do we get to? I don't even.
Hold up, I'll look.
Like, what's the original set? It's probably Arabian Nights or something. But like, is that even? I don't even think that's a relevant. Like, because Arabian Nights even has a couple of good cards. Some of them are on the reserve list, and then some of them just aren't. And it's like a common card that's better than this shit. I mean, what would be even the point?
I have no idea.
Unless you like, give something protection, you know.
Oh, it was in Legends.
Oh, okay. I mean, is that a relevant thing in that set? I don't think so. I don't know. Regardless, I don't even give a fuck if it's relevant. That's a 1. At least it's not an abhorrent amount of mana. I want to. It's tempting to say 0, but like, even though I can't think of a single reason why you'd ever want to do that, at least it doesn't just cost. It's almost like this is just saying, hey, do you want to do nothing for 6 mana, or do you want to pay 10 mana and actively just fucking do jack shit? Do you want to just piss all of your mana away or just some of it? So I guess it's a 1 just on that.
I can see this being effective if you're playing against the swords, like Swords of Feast and Famine or something like that, where the creature has protection from a specific color and you're trying to change, you just want to change the color of something. I can see it being effective that way. Would you really play it, I don't think you would. I think this is an instant one.
Unless you're playing in some weird casual meta where everyone is just rampantly running swords left and right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a 1.
Yeah. It's a 1. Okay, moving on.
Okay. I like the look of this row better because I recognize some of these.
So we got Alli from Cairo, which is for 2 and 2 red, you get a human creature, 0/1, that damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1, reduces it to 1 instead. That's actually not bad.
Yeah.
That's
it's not terrible.
From what we just fucking read, that's not bad.
Yeah, cEDH, no, there's too many other things that can kill you. So you'd never run this. But
yeah, it's too expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it was only 1 mana, would you run it in cEDH? Like, maybe.
Maybe. For sorcery speed, I don't know.
Is it a legend? I don't even think so. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's a 2.
I'd give it a 2.
Yeah. Because in a casual deck, this might be fun. Okay.
Yeah,
So
you know what? I might buy a copy and throw it into a red deck.
I think it's kind of expensive, actually. Because it's from Arabian Nights. Yeah. And it's actually like one that's not completely terrible. So I don't know. I'll buy you a copy next Christmas. So a year.
Oh my god, it's $140.
Oh shit. Yeah,
Jesus
those Arabian
Christ.
Nights cards are
don't buy me a copy.
expensive. Speaking of an expensive one, All Hallows Eve, 2 and 2 black for a sorcery. Exile All Hallows Eve with 2 scream counters on it.
I like that. Nice flavor.
I like how they added weird things like, okay, 2 scream counters. Like, couldn't it just be a fucking counter? But okay, that's cool. At the beginning of your upkeep, if All Hallows Eve is exiled with a scream counter on it, remove a scream counter from it. If there are no more scream counters on it, you put it into your graveyard, and each player returns all creature cards from his or her graveyard to the battlefield. So this is like a delayed, what is that card? Living Death, where everyone brings, but it doesn't nuke the battlefield. You just bring everything back.
Yeah.
I do like that no one can interact with it. It's got 2 scream counters on it. So 2 turns from now, all of these creatures are going to come back. You'd never play it in cEDH, but I really like it for flavor.
Never play it.
Like if you're doing a creepy, fun, Reanimator, spooky ghost, Halloween deck, I mean, this is like a must include. I'm pretty sure this one is ridiculously expensive though, because it's from Legends. I think it's like several hundred.
Would you? Oh Jesus! Would you like to take a guess on how much it is?
Isn't it like 400 something?
Sorry, Ian, you went over. It is $355.
Oh. Not terrible for a Legends card. I mean, this is like a collector's piece. I would almost never want to play it in a deck because of that.
Yeah, if I owned this card, it would live in a fucking hard case.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an easy 2.
Yeah, that's a 2 for me. Moving on. Altar of Bones. So for Selesnya, so white and green, you get a sorcery that sacrifice a creature to look through your library for a creature card. Put that card into your hand after showing it to all of your other players. Reshuffle your library afterwards. So this is what's that fucking Eladomir's Call? This is just Eladomir's Call. It's just a shittier version of that.
Yeah, but it's absolutely playable, and I play it in my Minsk list, and I do see it in either Selesnya lists or you're not going to play it in something that has access to black probably. But if you were in Selesnya or maybe a green white blue creature deck or something, I don't know, like Thrasios and Ishai, if you're getting a little more niche or something, I could just see, you want as many creature tutors as possible, and you have a lot of creatures, so it's not a big deal to just sack one and look for one, and maybe you want to get something in the graveyard. You know what? Actually, would be really good for our TNT list, because you could sack the Devoted Druid to get the Hazel.
Oh, that's true.
Onto the battlefield, though.
That's not bad.
You still can get something in the graveyard and tutor for any creature right to hand. It is sorcery speed. I think it hovers right around that 3 or 4 range because I run it, and it's 2 mana for a tutor right to hand of any creature. I'd say, it's a 4 for me.
Let's see. I have to go back to your...
It's like a Diabolic Intent.
So 4 is played or would be a specific strategy. 3, very niche playable. You know what? I would agree with you. It's a 4. I think it's just a shittier Eladamri's Call, and I think it's perfectly fine. It's a perfectly good tutor for what it is.
Yeah, it's not going to go in every deck with those colors, but there's plenty of decks that would want another copy of Eladamri's Call. Think of like Demonic Tutor. Diabolic Intent is slightly worse because you're sacrificing a creature. Now you still get any card to hand, any card, and this is just creatures, but in a creature combo focused deck, I think it's on the same par. So, okay, we got Aluren. 2 and 2 green for an enchantment. Any player may play creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less without paying their mana cost and as though they had flash.
Ooh.
Now, this is any player. But I could see... I mean, I don't know about cEDH, but I don't know. Maybe I could see like a super specific deck. Like this screams 3 to me, but I want to think about it for a second. Like it screams 3, where it's like so close, but because everyone gets it. That's kind of a downside.
I'm actually surprised it's legal in Commander.
Maybe it isn't. Unless you just
no, it is.
Oh, it is.
I just looked it up. Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, what would you want? Okay, so it gives 3 drops or less, flash, and they're free. So essentially, you can just throw out. I could see this being very good in like a weenies deck or something.
There's that one commander that's in mono green. Yeva. I just clicked on the first thing that came up. So basically, Yeva is a 4 mana, 2 and 2 green, 4/4. It has flash, and all your green creature spells have flash now. It is kind of redundant in that deck.
It is redundant,
but I don't know. But the biggest downside is it gives everyone else that ability too. So that means everyone else can play their stuff at flash. I mean, you could totally fuck yourself, and someone could be like, "Oh yeah, Thassa's Oracle on your turn, asshole. I'm gonna play my Aluren," and someone's like, "All right, Thassa's Oracle," and right as soon as that resolves.
I was gonna give it a 3 or 4, but you've just made a good point. This is a 2.
I'm gonna stick with a 3 just because I think that there's a way to make it work.
I think it gives your opponent too much of an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, are you playing this in cEDH? I mean, no, it's not a cEDH card, but I still think there's some way of busting it. So I'm just on the hope that it has a future at some point. I'm going to give it a 3. But yeah, would you play? Okay, basically, so, if it's not getting a 4 or 5, you're not going to see it. Essentially, take this for what that is. But
so 2.5, it's its final ranking.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I know this one's just going to be dog shit. I think
we've got time for like a couple more.
Yeah, let's do another row. Yeah, let's do 2 rows. Fine.
No, let's do another 2 rows because I can see what's on the bottom.
Yeah. No, me too. I want to do those 2.
Okay. Oh god, this has a mountain of text. So Amulet of Quoz is a 6-drop artifact with remove amulet from your deck before playing it if you are not playing it for ante. Okay. And then 0 tap, sacrifice amulet, flip a coin, target opponent calls heads or tails. While coin is in the air, the flip ends up in your favor. That opponent loses the game. Otherwise, you lose the game. Jesus Christ. Effects that prevent or redirect damage cannot be used to prevent the loss of life. Use this ability only during your upkeep. The opponent may ante an additional card to counter this effect. Okay. Could you imagine cEDH if the ante was a rule?
Oh my god, I'd be terrified. I'd be like, I don't want to lose my $1,000 card. Oh my god. I don't think anyone would play.
I don't think anyone would play.
Even with the proxies, I'd be like, oh man, now I gotta order another bunch of proxies from China. Wait a fucking month for them to get here.
Okay.
Fuck that.
So Ian, would you run Amulet of Quoz in your cEDH deck? Assuming, let's remove the ante rule.
Okay. Which it doesn't even, it just says if you're not playing ante, but then there's no actual mention of ante.
No, it says if you're
other than that,
if you're not playing for ante, you remove it from your deck.
Yes, but it doesn't actually. Usually, ante has to do with like you ante up a card, and whoever wins, you get the other person's anteed up card. So, but usually there's some sort of other thing where it's like, oh, take their ante card now and do this and change it or something. So it's just weird that it. But so. See, if it said if you win the flip, you win the game, otherwise they do, that would be really funny. Because then you're just like, hey, this is a 50-50, I fucking win right now. And then, I don't know, do you play it in Krark just as a meme? Oh no, Krark is instant and sorceries.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something what's the other thing? Krark's Thumb. It's an artifact where you get to flip an extra time. So let's just say, hypothetically, I know we're totally just going off track here, but this is what makes this fun. It says you win instead. And you play this along with Krark's Thumb as a 2-card combo. And you just could...
that would give you...
2 chances at 50%.
2 chances.
Win, which is just a 3/4. You have a 3/4 chance to win the game on the spot.
That's hilarious.
Fuck it.
Okay, so if that was the case, this would totally be playable because you have a 3/4 chance of winning the game, but you also have a 25% chance of giving the win to your opponent.
Yeah, and it still is 6 mana, and you'd have to find 2 artifacts, and this one that's 6. Yeah, I mean, even with that, it would be more of a meme thing, but it would be hilarious.
Yeah. It would be hilarious.
That
I'm
being
going with a 1.
Yep, it's a 1.
Yep. Moving on.
We have to come up with funny things and weird stipulations. Otherwise, so many of these would just be 1s and 2s. Okay, let's see. Amulet.
I'm having fun just going through this shit.
Yeah, I know.
This
Me
is
too.
Hilarious.
And we're still on the A's. There's a lot of these. Maybe we try and get through the A's tonight. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, let's hold up. Before we do that, how many A's are there?
God, there's a fuck. Okay, maybe not.
Maybe not.
That's a lot of A's.
Hold up. What land is Badlands? Oh, yeah. Of course, there's reserve list.
Okay.
I just didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Of Unmaking, 5 mana, artifact. This is gonna be another one of those. 5 and tap it. Remove Amulet of Unmaking from the game. Remove target artifact, creature, or land from the game. Play this ability as a sorcery.
That's not bad, honestly. I mean, it's a 10 mana investment, but
it's a better effect than the other ones. I mean, this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This is a 1. I mean, the 10 mana is just like, what the hell? And you remove the amulet too. It's not even a repeatable effect. I don't even think you'd play this in a casual deck if it was repeatable because of the cost. But the fact that you have to remove it from the game too, it's just 10 mana to exile something. You can exile something for fucking free.
Yeah, you're right. When you're right, you're right.
Jesus Christ. I mean, you can exile something for fucking free. Solitude. Fucking Deadly Rollick. I mean...
Yeah, it's a 1.
Yeah. Because the only thing that saves it is because the effect itself isn't like, hey, if this creature gets dealt damage but then doesn't die and yours doesn't die, you could kill it. And it's like, what? So, yeah, that's a 1. These are some interesting ones. You read that one. Anaba?
I feel like we should group these two together because like they kind of do the exact same thing. Anaba Ancestor or Anaba Ancestor is a 1 and red creature Minotaur spirit. It's a 1/1. And you can tap it. Another Minotaur creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If you're playing a Minotaur tribal deck, is there any Minotaur commanders?
Neheb. I think Neheb is a... Which is just, I would rather... But if I was going to play Neheb and then... That's like playing such a cool deck where it's like, hey, you could play all this dope explosive red stuff, and it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna shoot myself in both knees and play Minotaur tribal.
Minotaur. Yeah,
that's like Neheb, but he's in a wheelchair and he's like, yeah, I used to have fun, now I just play Minotaur tribal. Yeah, and you have to tap it to give another Minotaur +1/+1. I mean, what the fuck? There's vampire cards that are 2 mana that say all vampires get +1/+1 permanently. In fucking Minotaurs, you can't even give Minotaurs something that does that. I mean, I guess like you said, the next card that's slightly better, but it's 4. Oh, so here we'll just do the next one. Anaba Spirit Crafter, 2 and 2 red, so twice the mana, for a 1/3. It's also a Minotaur, but it's a Minotaur Shaman, and Minotaur creatures get +1/+0. I mean, fantastic.
I would give these cards I'd give them 2 because, like,
yeah, in a Minotaur tribal,
they would.
Yeah, you'd never play it. cEDH is out of the question, but if we're just talking, EDH in general, casual, yeah, they're 2s. But like, come on.
Okay.
I wish they had better Minotaur shit.
Right. Moving on.
Let me do this next one. I actually really like this. I'll give you the real good one. But I love, so Ancestral Knowledge is 1 in 1 blue for an enchantment. It has cumulative upkeep 1. So that means on your next upkeep, you'd have to pay 1. On the upkeep after that, you'd have to pay 2. But when Ancestral Knowledge comes into play, look at the top 10 cards of your library, then remove any number of them from the game and put the rest back on top of your library in any order. If Ancestral Knowledge leaves play, shuffle your library. cEDH playable? Probably not. Although I used to have it in my Yuriko list, just because digging that far and then putting a couple on top, and then you get to shuffle if you just don't want to pay. So, and I always had Sensei's Divining Top in that deck. So there are a couple of things. I want to say 3 because it seems bad at first because like, oh, but then you lose all the cards. But you put all the ones that you want up front, you draw those, and then you shuffle your whole library. It's kind of like a slow, drawn out brainstorm where you don't draw. It makes it sound really shitty, which it kind of is. But it's not completely out of the question.
I would give it... Okay. I would give it a 3. Yeah, I would agree with you. It's got its niche play, but I don't see it being run in most decks.
No. cEDH, probably not. Probably never. Now, this next one.
Yeah.
I will let you take this away.
Oh. I'm going to go off the... I'm just not even going to read it, Ian. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a 0. This is going to be the worst fucking card that we fucking... No. This is Ancestral Recall. It's a 1-drop blue. Target player draws 3 cards. Fucking 5. It's a 5.
Yeah. Not even a question. If this were legal, which it isn't. Also, let's take a guess at what this costs. Let's just say for an unlimited copy. Let's just an unlimited copy.
Hold up. I'm going to go to...
Don't pull it up yet.
Let's go to MTG Stonks right now.
Okay.
Oh, don't pull it up. Do you want to guess?
Oh, yeah. Let's guess first. But I'm going to say for an unlimited copy, it's going to be like $1,200. Oh, probably more. Honestly, that's probably too low. For a near mint market price, I don't know, 3,000. I'll say 3,000 for an unlimited.
Here's a question. Was it its last printing in unlimited?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't even make it to revised.
Yeah, honestly, Power 9, I'm going to say about 3,000. I'm going to say, just because we're going to go prices right rules, I'm going to say about 2,500.
Oh, okay. So if I go over. So you're saying, okay. Yeah, no, gotcha.
Ancestral Recall.
Yeah, don't pull it up on here. Pull it up on here. Let's see. Unlimited edition.
For an unlimited version.
God. Okay, well, that's just the listing. So we're looking for the actual market, which they don't even have because it probably hasn't sold.
Probably anyone who has a copy is never selling it.
Yeah, I mean, the market says... Oh, dude. Wait, what the heck? Why is this... So yeah, even if the last... Is that... Am I correct in thinking that the last time it was sold is September of 2022? At least that they were tracking it. That's weird.
Interesting.
What happens with TCG? I'm just curious to see. Yeah, market price unavailable. When's one even the last one that's sold? Yeah. Ooh, lightly played.
There's one. Nice. Okay.
I mean, but
man,
yeah.
that's more expensive than my fucking car.
Oh my god, I know. Same, probably same. Help us buy new cards.
Okay.
Donate to the Patreon.
Donate to the Patreon, which is hopefully not suspended. Please, Patreon, stop suspending my account.
Oh yeah, you said you had, when you were just building it, they instantly suspended it.
I think by the time this video comes out, it's probably gonna be resolved. But like, because I got an email earlier, it's just like, oh, it was suspicious activity. It's like, yeah, whatever. Here's all the information that you're asking for. Just please let me have access to it again.
It's like I haven't even finished logging into the goddamn account. How am I suspicious? I haven't done anything yet. But
Ian, I think the Ancestral Recall is a good spot to end on. I think we're also both in agreement that it's a 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Not only do you instantly draw 3 cards, which is like out of a Mystic Remora, if you just pay 1 and you go around and each player feeds it once, you're happy. You're like, hell yeah, that's a great investment. This is 1 mana, you get them instantly. You can also stop Thassa's Oracle Winds. You just force them to draw.
Yeah, you can make them fucking deck themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, this is a good one to stop on.
Yeah. So what's our top 5 right now?
Okay, so if I were to do the final rank, we've got the Ancestral Recall is a 5. Okay. Next up, we've got Altar of Bone as a 4.
Altar of Bone. Oh, Altar of Bone. Okay.
The tutor. We've got Academy Rector at 3.5.
Okay.
And then tied for 4th and 5th, we've got Ancestral Knowledge and Abeyance both at 3. I'm trying to see. I don't think. Yeah, everything else.
Yeah.
Is
everything else is just a 1, pretty much.
Or a 2. There's 1 2 point. The next one below that is the Aluren, because I'm like, I feel like you could make that busted somehow. But I mean, super fringe. I do think, like eventually we will release a video for this. We want to create something for newer players, but I really want to think about it and plan it out, because I see a lot of advice for new players, but I also see on Reddit all the time. I'm on the competitive EDH subreddit a lot, and I see people every day asking, how do I get started? What should I do? And are these commanders viable? And sometimes people can be a little bit close-minded, but I do know where they're coming from. I don't think a new player should start with like, oh, I'm going to play some weird quirky thing and try and make Aluren good in cEDH. No, play Blue Farm, Kinnan, Najila, play the All-Stars, play the S-tier shit, and start racking up some wins. And then as you learn the game, then start experimenting. Trevor and I have been playing for a long time, so, we can fuck around a little bit more. We'll probably still lose with those choices, but I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about experimenting and having fun. But yeah, we'll do an episode like that at some point, but that's a good point to stop. Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, this was fun. We will continue doing this. Probably episode 15 will be our next time we do this. So in about a month, come join us again for this.
I could do once a month.
And yeah, Until then, follow us on Twitter or Blue Sky, or Instagram if that's set up by now. You can support us directly on Patreon, hopefully. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, thanks for joining us. It's been a blast.
Yep. Thank you. Also, while this is fading out,
right.
We did 22 cards really quick. I thought there was going to be duplicates, but there isn't. There hasn't been any duplicates. So there really is 571 cards.
Yeah. And we did 22 of them?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of that was talking about how shitty the acidic jet dagger was. So
I mean, it is, though. It is.
It is.
We did like 4%.
This is going to be a long thing. Like, we're going to continue doing this until we've done the entire reserve list. Because why not? It's our fucking show.
Yeah.
It's what we want to do.
Show, mate. Yeah, we did 4% of it. So that means we can get 25 more episodes of this. Of us just
something like that, yeah.
Dunking on the absolute trash that is unprintable for some reason. Because they said so. All right. Peace out.
Because they said so. All right, motherfuckers. We'll see you in hell.